Hello, good morning everyone. Welcome to our GKRP online classes. So today we will discuss about the fourth chapter of our history book, and the name of fourth chapter is what? Ruling the countryside. Means ruling the, you can say, the rural areas. Okay, how did the Britishers what ruling the rural areas in village areas? Okay, so before we will start the chapter, let's go back to the previous classes. Let's recall the previous classes that the Britishers were what able to, or you can say, the conquest over major territories of India, and they were also established their political supremacy over there. Okay, after that they were started to establish their political supremacy in rural area also, because from the rural areas they were received a lot of what tax, or you can say land revenue. Okay, for the land revenue, or for collected the land revenue, the Britishers were what executed some plans, some system was there. Okay, like the permanent settlement, the territory settlement, which was introduced by Thomas Monroe in 1820. Then Mahavari system, which was introduced by Hall Mackenzie in 822. After that, the permanent settlement, okay, which was introduced in 1723 by Lord Cornwallis. So this type of what policies, or you can say this type of system, were introduced by the Britishers for collecting the revenue. Okay, so the English East India Company what adopted land revenue policies, and its main aim was to get maximum tax, or you can say maximum revenue from land. That's why they were what created or implemented this type of policy. Okay, the Britishers what the new policy distributed the traditional and social relations and economy. It offset the link between agriculture and cottage industries. Okay, the company demanded high revenue in case at a fixed point of time from the farmers. The Britishers were demanded what? High revenue. Got it? Then this led to the introduction of money lenders and the consequent exploitation of the peasantry. That's why what the Britishers, they were wanted to collect more and more revenue. That's why they were what executed these plans, or what implemented these types of system. Okay, and these systems were led to the introduction of money lenders. Okay, money lenders who the peasants borrowed money from the money lenders for their farming activities, and what money lenders as well as the peasants were exploited by the money lenders, or you can say by the company, British East India Company. Okay, it favored the zamindars by granting them ownership rights over land and depriving the peasantry of traditional rights. However, because of high revenue demands, many old zamindars lost their possessions. The peasantry suffered considerably at the hands of money lenders and the new and absentee zamindars. The company commercialized agriculture for its own interest, and ultimately the peasants rebelled against the Britishers. By these plans, by these settlements, you can say by these policies of the Britishers, the peasants or the Indian farmers, they were suffered a lot. That's why they were started rebellion against the Britishers. Okay, the Britishers were in agriculture field, they were more commercialized. Means they were forced to the Indian farmers to grow commercial crop like indigo, cotton, etc. Okay, so the farmers were much more suffered by the policies of the Britishers, and after that they were started rebellion against the Britishers. Okay, so new land revenue policy. These are the new land revenue policy. Through this revenue policy, the Britishers were collected high revenue, high taxes from the farmers. Got it? After that, pre-British system. What is pre-British system? system. Pre-British system means the you can say the before the Britishers what reached India. Okay, that time was known as was pre-British system. You can say the Mughal period was also called as the pre-British system before the Britishers were reached India. So during that time under the Mughals the revenue was what assessed and collected with the help of village headman, and the village headman was called as you can say Patel or Party. Okay, the amount of revenue depend on the actual produce crop and was usually assessed during every crop seasons, means the seasons by seasons. Okay, cultivated as cultivated crop amount wise cultivated crop. Okay, the Patil or you can say the Patel were collected the revenue from the farmers. Okay, then it could be paid in cash or kind. Mean by cash the farmers were what paid to the tax to the government, tax to the you can say Patil or Patel. After that they were also what gave crop as like the tax to the Patel. Okay, then the state generally demanded 1/3 of the produce as revenue. During natural calamities revenue was not collected. During flood like drought, okay, during natural calamities were happened, okay, the revenue was not collected. Got it? After that, and loans were advanced to the cultivators. The peasants' rights over the land were well defined. They could not be evicted from their land. Local customs and traditions were honored. The state approached the villagers only for revenue purpose. In other matter, the village communities enjoyed autonomy. So, in the pre-British system, the peasants were not much more suffered by the Mughal empires. According to their land, according to their cultivation, they had to pay taxes to the party. Okay, and they were also kept their lands, and the loans they take from the money lenders. Okay, the loans were also provided by the money lenders in you can say in low interest. Okay, so by this you can say by this case you can say that the peasants of the farmers were lived a happy life during what pre-British system. They were not forced by the emperor, not forced by the what you can say the zamindars to what grow commercial crop like indigo and cotton. Okay, after that the British arrived in India. They were able to what succeed over India. They were conquest over India. They were what applied some policy like permanent settlement, Riotory system, Malwari system. Okay, so this type of systems they were collected what high land revenue from the peasants, from the farmers. Okay, and the they were introduced what money lenders who what provided economic facilities to the peasants in a high interest, so that after the British conquest over India, they were captured over India. Okay, they were demanded high revenue from the peasants, and the peasants were what not able to pay what high demand of revenue of the Britishers. Okay, so let's see what are the new land revenue policy in Bengal and Bihar. So revenue policy in Bengal and Bihar, major territories of India, were the Britishers in the beginning. They were what succeed the throne of Bengal and Bihar also. So the process of establishing a new land revenue system started from the Bengal. Okay, because in the beginning the Britishers got control over Bengal, and from far beginning the Britishers were what conquest over Bengal, and they were what established or created the political supremacy over Bengal. Okay, after that And Bihar, after British got the grant of Diwani of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa in 1765. Bihar, Bengal, Orissa, Bihar. Okay, so the Britishers got gave Diwani facilities in 1765 over Bengal, Orissa, and Bihar. Okay, so Diwani, the Britishers were what you can say collected the revenue. Okay, and they had control over all over Bengal, Orissa, and Bihar. Okay, after that the British began with the temporary settlement of land in 1772 century. Under this system, the right to collect revenue was what auctioned to the highest bidder. Means they you can say they created or they settled a auction where the highest bidder who paid highest money, okay, he will what you can say he will got the right to what collected the revenue from the from the farmers, from the peasants. Okay, it was called revenue farming system. Okay, or ijraha dari. Okay, so it was called revenue earning system. The highest bidder had to what collected taxes from the peasant through a auction which was created by the Britishers. Got it? After that was the what temporary you can say revenue system or temporary land revenue system. After the Britishers introduced what permanent settlement policy. So what was permanent settlement policy? So permanent settlement policy in 1793 it was introduced by what Lord Cornwallis. Got it? The permanent settlement, or you can say Istamarai what Bandobast, Istamarai Bandobast, the Hindi name of permanent settlement. Besides Bengal and Bihar, it was introduced in northwestern provinces and northern Carnatic also. In northern part of India, in Bihar, in Bengal, the permanent settlement was introduced in that particular regions also. Okay, so the permanent settlement of Bengal and Bihar raised the status of the Jamindars. It made them what hereditary owners of land. Since the Jamindars were given such rights, the settlement is also called the Jamindari tenure, or you can say Jamindari system. So in permanent settlement which was introduced in 1723, okay, the Jamindars were what you can say Jamindars were the leader in permanent settlement. That's why the permanent settlement called as Jamindar system also. Okay, so Jamindar system was a hereditary system. After the Jamindar, his son will be the what Jamindar. The Jamindar they played the work of the what you can say the money lenders. Mean they were the supreme you can say supreme leader to collect revenue and pay to the government. So Jamindars you can say were the bridges between the British government and the peasants. So the Britishers were appointed Jamindars to collect that land revenue. Okay, after that, if a person or if a peasants were not able to what pay taxes or you can say revenue to the government, after that his land annexed by the British government. Okay, or you can say his land captured by the British government. Okay, after that the new Jamindar held Jamindari in villages but stayed in cities. They were absentee Jamindars and were loyal to the Britishers. Means they were very loyal, they were very honest to the British government. They were collected revenue from the villages, but they were settled, but they were what settled in the house. He settled in house which were placed in cities, in towns. Okay, the peasant lost their traditional rights over land and become what tenants at will. that is the cultivators without any rights over land. So what was tenants at will means the position, or you can say the position of peasants was very poor, okay, because they didn't do any work in his farming field with his or her wishes, okay. So the cultivators without any rights over land, they means the British government, or through the Jamindari system, the Britishers were abolished the every rights of Indian cultivator, Indian peasants, or you can say Indian farmers, okay. They paid land revenue to the Jamindars. The Jamindar could evict them anytime, or you can say the land of the peasants were seized by the Jamindar in any time, okay. Under this system, the main beneficiary was the state. It received a prefixed amount on a fixed date. In Jamindar system, the land revenue, you can say prices is also fixed, okay. After that, it passed on the responsibility of revenue collection to the Jamindar. Means the Britishers were appointed the Jamindars, and you can say the chief function of the Jamindar was to collect revenue. If they were not collected the revenue from the peasants, from the farmers, then the what Jamindars will be responsible in front of the government. And in that system, in Jamindar system, in permanent settlement, the land revenue system, or land revenue, you can say prices were fixed, okay. After that, the Jamindars retained 10% of the fixed amount and paid the remaining 90% to the Britishers. Means in land revenue, what the Jamindars were collected 100% of revenue from the farmers. They were kept what 10% only from the land revenue, and after that they were paid 90% of the prices to the British government. So the you can say that the British government was able to collected high revenue from the farmers through the Jamindari system, okay. Then the new Jamindars were also beneficiaries. They remained faithful to the Britishers. Means after the Jamindars were practiced this type of honest work, loyal work, they were what faithful to the British government, okay. Then another land revenue policy was called as Mahalwari system, okay, and it was introduced by Thomas Munro in 1820, okay. In major parts of northwestern provinces, in Punjab, in Delhi, then in central India and western Uttar Pradesh, okay. Under this system, villages were put together into groups. The groups of villages was called Mahal or Mahal. Each Mahal had one headman. Means the villages were, you can say, combined by the British government, and they were called as Mahal. Okay, each Mahal or a group of villages had one headman. The British made a revenue settlement with a village or a group of villages, or you can say Mahal also as a whole. The villagers collectively owned the land. Even under this system, the demand of revenue was the maximum. After making reductions, it was fixed at 60% of the produce. So in Mahalwari system, the Britishers combined the group of the villages, and they were appointed a headman and who had collected taxes from the village groups, or you can say Mahal. And in that system, the land revenue system was also fixed. After that, what the farmers were demanded reduction in land revenue. After that, in Mahalwari system, the land revenue prices were reduced into what 60% only, okay. So parts of Madras Presidency and Bombay Presidency, Berar and Assam were given yet another system, namely Riyadwari system, okay, which was introduced in 1822 by Mackenzie. Under this system, there was no intermediary between the state and peasant. Means like the headman who collected revenue in Mahalwari system, like the Jamindars who collected revenue from the peasants. In Jamindari system, there was no what you can say middleman between state government and between the peasants. Okay, the British made the settlement directly with the peasants. The peasants enjoyed the ownership of land as long as they paid revenue. Okay, in Riyadwari system, the peasants what you can say had the right to what cultivated in their land. Okay, if they were not able, they will not able to pay the land or revenue to the Britishers. After that, the British government will seize the land of the farmers according to the Riyadwari system. Okay, so this by this such type of system, by the you can say by this type of policy, the Britishers were able to collected high land revenue which were fixed by the British government. But the Indian farmers, okay, they were suffered a lot, or they were unable to what paid the taxes, land taxes, or you can say revenue to the British government. After and also they were what their land was where you can say their land were what seized by the British government. So many farmers, they were lost their land, they lost their farming land. Okay, after that, what were the impact of new system? This type of system like Riyadwari system, Mahalwari system, then Jamindari system. Okay, what were the impact of new system? The British introduced new system to cross the entire agriculture economy of India. In the first place, the three types of British settlement ruthlessly, means brutally, replaced the traditional Indian system. Means the Britishers were destroyed the traditional you can say land revenue system which were collected by the Mughal, by the time of Mughal Empire. They were what destroyed the traditional land revenue system, and they were settled, or you can say they were ran a brutal or ruthless, means kindless revenue system in India, because they were wanted to drain the wealth, then the natural resource from India to their nation. That's why they were created the new policies, new system of land revenue. Okay, then they forced the condition of peasants and settled the rural economy. Means by these new settlements, they were what you can say destroyed the land revenue system of India. They were destroyed the economic condition of India, and by this system, the peasant, the farmers suffered a lot. Okay. After that, secondly, the British created a new class of jamindars. They facilitated the entry of moneylenders and supported them in running their business. Means between state and farmers, the Britishers were created the position of jamindars and moneylenders. Okay, the chief function of you can say jamindars was collected revenue from the farmers, from the peasants, and the chief function of moneylenders to provide what economic facilities, to provide what economic you can say facilities to the peasants in a high interest. Okay, as like borrow, the peasants can what took the money from the money lenders. Okay, if any case, okay, by the natural calamities, okay, the farmers you can say the crops of farmers were destroyed by natural calamities like drought, flood. Okay, after that the farmer had to pay, okay, the interest as well as the what final price which was provided by the money lenders. After that, they had to pay what taxes to the jamindars. Okay. Then you can say by this new settlement, the peasants, the farmers, Indian farmers, they were exploited by this system. Okay. Thirdly, the British did nothing to improve agriculture. Means there was no agricultural reforms did by the Britishers. Okay, they were only focused on what collected revenue from the Indian farmers. Okay, the peasant dependent open rain, failure of rain brought about famines. Later, irrigation facilities were provided on a very small scale. This was done to promote cultivation of the crop which the British industrialists needed in England. Means there were no developmental work done by the Britishers in agricultural field. They had only what introduced the new system for collecting revenue, for collecting taxes from the Indian farmers. That's why the Indian farmers were what failed to grow more and more crop, because there was no facility or broader facility of irrigation or water supply, or there were no modern tools to what grow more and more crop. That's why the Indian farmers were totally exploited by the what settlements of the Britishers. Okay. After the Britishers what introduced new system, and the impact of new system through through the new system, the you can say Indian peasants, Indian farmers, they were exploited by the Britishers. Okay. After that, the Britishers was tried, or the Britishers set up a commercialization of agriculture. Commercialization of agriculture means the Britishers forced the Indian farmers to what grow cash crop like indigo, then rubber, jute, coffee, tea, cotton. Okay, so the Indian farmers, they were what forced by the Britishers to grow, to cultivated what cash crop, and the Britishers were able to set up a commercialization in agricultural field. Okay. Britishers provided what money, you can say money to the big Indian farmers, as well as the British farmers who were involved in agricultural activities in India. Okay, because in commercialization, in cash crop, grow of cash crop, the irrigation facility is much needed. Okay, that's why what for the irrigation facility, the Britishers, what the money lenders, you can say the money lenders were provided what economic facilities to the peasant, to the farmers. Okay, after that, the Britishers also what provided free land to the European farmers. So means British farmers also, who the British farmers, they were what settled in India, and also what do farming activities in India. Okay, the Indian farmers who before they were what growing food crops like paddy, wheat, maize, okay, pulses, they were forced to what grow cash crop like what cotton, coffee, then jute, fiber, etc. Okay. After that, the Britishers set up many industries. Okay, in India also, in England also, and they were what again, or you can say they were purchased the cash crop from the Indian farmers in a low price. So according to this system, okay, the Britishers tried to commercialize Indian agriculture, but by the commercialization of the Britishers, the Indian farmers were mostly exploited, or you can say suffer by this commercialization of agriculture. Means the Britishers forced to Indian farmers to grow cash crop, and they were purchased the cash crop from the Indian farmers in a low rate, in a low price. So by this commercialization process, the Indian farmers were totally, or you can say kindlessly exploited by the British government. That's why many revolts were also performed by the peasants. Okay. One of the most important revolt against the Britishers in agricultural field, that was what the Indigo Rebellion, which was what held in Bengal. Okay, the Indigo Rebellion. So the Peasants Rebellion, you can say the Indigo Rebellion of 1859 in Bengal was caused by many factors. It was the one of the most important crop revolution, or you can say the agricultural rebellion which was performed by which was you can say created by the farmers peasants of Bengal in 1859. So what were the reasons behind Indigo rebellion? Okay, the European indigo planters were very oppressive. Plantation workers used to face their oppressive behavior like what? Rude behavior. The planters forced to peasants to cultivate indigo on certain areas of land and sell their produce at a very low price. Means the European planters, they were forced what? They were pressurized the Indian farmers, Indian peasants to grow what? Indigo, which was also a what? Cash crop for their needed. The European planters were forced to Indian farmers. Okay, and they were after the cultivation of indigo, what the European planters, the European businessmen, they were purchased the indigo from the farmers in a very low price, in a very low what you can say category. Okay, so the Indian farmers they were what took the money from the money lenders. After that, they were what you can say sell their crops to the planters in a very low price. That's why they were you can say they were faced lost in their cultivation. Okay, so in 1859, many peasants refused to grow indigo anymore because there was no profit in what? Indigo cultivation. That's why the peasants of Indian farmers, they were refused to grow indigo in their field. Okay, they defined the planters and later Indigo Commission. These peasants also boycotted the Indians who cooperated with the European planters. The Indian farmers also opposed the Indians who were what maintain cooperation or maintain good relationship with the Britishers, with the Europeans. They fought against the armed forces of the planters and attacked factories of the Europeans. After that, they were very aggressive. They were fought against the army of the Britishers, and they were also attacked the industries, or you can say factories of the Britishers. The uprising was widespread and a lot of women also participated in it. Later, Mahatma Gandhi also supported the Indigo rebellion in Champaran, in Bihar. Okay, in Punjab, the Kuka movement rose, which was an agricultural rebellion against the Britishers. Bhai Ram Singh was moved, among other things, by the miseries of peasants, by the you can say sorrow of peasants. He worked as a reformer. He advocated use of Swadeshi clothes. Means in Punjab, what Bhai Ram Singh took leadership in the rebellion, and he you can say according to Ram Singh, the farmers of Punjab, they were also followed the policies of Ram Singh, and they were boycotted the foreign goods, foreign clothes. Okay. After that, he was the first to adopt the policy non-cooperation against the Britishers. Means Bhai Ram Singh was the first person who adopted the policy of non-cooperation in every field with the Britishers. He worked against social evils. Also, he was arrested and later died in prison by the Britishers. Many cookers were arrested and 63 of them were hanged without trial. So many reformers, social reformers in Punjab, they were you can say arrested by the Britishers without trial and also hanged by the Britishers without trial. Means you can say the Britishers brutally killed the Indian reformers who were tried to work again some rights for the peasants, for the farmers of India. Okay. After that, the Farji and Wahhabi movement. These were also you can say rebellion or movement against the Britishers, which were performed by the Indian peasants or farmers. So the Farji movement was led by Dudu Mian in Varanasi from 1838 to 48, who was the leader of Farji movement Dudumian, which was you can say performed in Varanasi. Okay, a part of Bengal came under the influence of the movement. The movement was essentially a religious reform movement among the Muslim. Okay, so the Farji movement was a, you can say, the religious movement. Okay, among the Muslim were started the Farji movement. Okay, a large following of the movement consisted in favor of the oppressed peasants against the zamindars and the British. Dudumian asked the peasants not to pay land revenue and not to sow indigo. Okay, so Dudumian what asked the peasants to not to pay the land revenue to the Britishers and not to sow the cash crop like indigo. Okay, after that Sayyid Ahmad of Bareilly was a Muslim leader, the Wahhabi sector. Who was the leader of Wahhabi movement? What? Sayyid Ahmad Bareilly, who was a Muslim leader. He led an anti-British movement for quite some time. Means he also what you can say said to the peasants, said to the farmer that they didn't pay land revenue to the what? Britishers. Okay, it was also a religious movement aimed at reforming Muslim, but what simultaneously the movement had secular dimensions also. It was supported by the peasants and the artisans who had suffered at the hands of the British in India. Therefore, the movement had certain characteristics of a peasants movement directed against the British. Many peasants of tribal regions of rural regions also rose against the British. Against the British. So against the British, against the commercialization system of the Britishers, what the farmers of India, the peasants of India, they were started rebellion against the Britishers. Okay, by the leaders of like Bhai Ram Singh, then Dudumian, like Shia Ahmad, they were took the leadership in that movement, and by the movement the Indian farmers later on what the Indian farmers they were able to gain some facilities in agricultural field. So the ruling in this chapter the ruling the countryside of the Britishers were for collecting land revenue. They were started what many new system of land revenue like permanent settlement, you can say zamindari system, mahalwari system, riyatwari system, and they were forced the Indian farmers to sow what, or you can say to grow cash crop like indigo, cotton, jute, etc. And the Indian farmers what suffered a lot by the policies of the Britishers, and they were started what rebellion against the Britishers. So this is all about the chapter ruling the countryside, about the what new policies of the Britishers. I hope you all understood the chapters clearly, and later on we will discuss about a new chapter from our civics section. Okay, till now, thank you. Have a nice day.